What's up, landlords? Renee here. I'm going to go over some landlording lessons. I'm going to talk about today renter's insurance and e-locks. So, renter's insurance is passed around a lot as a requirement. The correct terminology is called liability to the landlord's property. And you can require like a minimum of $100,000 minimum liability to the landlord's property. And that in itself could be its own policy. So, if a tenant chooses to get renter's insurance and then it covers that $100,000 liability to the landlord's property requirement, and it also insures their stuff, then that's on them. But the very minimal thing that the landlord can require and should is that $100,000 liability to the landlord's property. And that should be the standard that you put in your website, your FAQs, and or maybe in your description of your listing. And then if they ask, you can explain what the difference is. And then you're never going to get hemmed up for any kind of like messy situation later. Also, you want to make sure you're listed as additional interested party. Interested, not insured. You do not want to be an additional insured person. You're not living there. It's completely separate from you. The reason why you want to be listed as additional interested is only so you can verify the policy and call and speak to whoever the policy issuer is, whichever the company is, the insurance company. You can call and give your name and the policy number and they will speak to you. If you're not listed as additional interested party and you call and you give the address or even the policy number, they're not going to see your name and they won't speak to you. The reason why you want to be listed as additional interested party is because you want to make sure they have it periodically. You might want to call and check and make sure they didn't cancel it prematurely, or in some cases, they will notify you if you're listed on there if the policy is canceled prematurely. I was going to ask some of the other landlords if they have any issues or experience with that, or any cases where the insurance came in handy. Maybe like a kitchen fire or something like that. But I was recently asked by somebody in school about a situation where the tenants were moving out and the U-Haul vehicle like struck the side of the exterior where the garage is or something and damaged it. And it was in an HOA community in their townhome. So the HOA is in charge of all like the maintenance and upkeep and all that stuff of the exterior. And the first question I thought of is, did they have renter's insurance or liability to the landlord's property? Because that would have been a perfect situation where you say, okay, accidents happen. Go ahead and give me your policy number. Let's go ahead and do a claim, pay the deductible and all this stuff and get it resolved. But they did not have it, which I'm assuming because the question wasn't answered. If I remember the details, the HOA has their own preferred vendor and it's expensive, and the landlord was trying to like hire their own handyman or whatever to try to get the repairs done cheaper to save money. The security deposit was only going to cover like 5% of the total damage. So obviously you're going to take all the security deposit in this case. And then the landlord was trying to go after the U-Haul company. That was just one example that I thought that the liability to the landlord's property would make it pretty clear that why you would want this. E-locks. I was just going to quickly talk about e-locks and how I use them. And I did a lot of experimenting because I was in Iraq and, I didn't want to have keys. And then at first I had a property manager. The property manager had keys and he was always in charge of kind of like rekeying and stuff like that. And then when I took over, he gave me the keys. And at first I wanted to be all organized, and I went on Amazon and I bought the little lanyards with the little, label, and I'm writing property number 1 and property number 2 and 3 and 4. And then I had it all organized. I thought was good. I hung them in my safe and locked them up. And I remember a case where I was home on leave and I was going to go there for something, and I drove all the way there and I didn't have the key and I left it back. And then as years passed, because I've had tenants for a while, and then I go to get in there to get the keys and I labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, what is this labeling convention? I was like, why didn't I just put the address? And then I had like extra keys that were like, I was like, it was just a big mess. So I decided to experiment with e-locks. The things to look out for with your e-lock is sometimes people want a long battery life. And I don't necessarily care so much about that, because Sledge does have a better version that when you type in the code, you turn the cylinder and it actually extracts the bolt out. So the person is manually moving the bolt every time. And that does make the battery last a really long time. But aesthetics wise, it's very ugly and it doesn't look good to me. But it does have a key that is in the center of that like little latch thing that you're twisting, and which is good, but you can't rekey that thing and have all the same master key for all the properties. So you would have multiple keys, and I don't want that. So I just want one master key for all the properties. But I take a different approach because I always want hands-off stuff. So I don't want extra features and all that nonsense that's going to require me to have it connected to Wi-Fi and troubleshooting. And then which model is my preferred version, not for aesthetics only, for functionality, and then also systems, because if you use one type of brand and model across all your properties, then you could standardize your FAQs and stuff like that, and your tutorials, your unit access tutorials. When a new tenant is onboarded, you can send them links and videos and stuff and show them how to open the door, lock the door, change the batteries, how to change the code if they want to. So I eventually got to that after I tested a lot of stuff, and I wasn't necessarily going with the cheapest e-lock, and I wasn't going with the one that was all fancy smart home either. But I did settle on Quickset because they offer this master rekey feature, which is really cool. So what I do is the e-locks I use always has the code to get in, but then there's a slot for a key to actually unlock it. Let's say the battery dies, but I don't provide that key to the tenants, and that's what I hold on to, and that's my master key. So the tenants are only getting codes. It felt really weird in the beginning to, like, here's your after they pay all the funds due. And then the first day of the lease at midnight, I schedule a email to go out and say, here's your unit access tutorial. I have a whole template and everything I could share with you guys in school. And one of the things is like a space for the code. I copy paste the template in there and then put the new code. And then they have the videos and stuff they can watch to kind of open it and close it and change the batteries and all that and redo the code. Because sometimes people don't feel safe with the code that I provide them. Some don't care. Like, many of them don't care. They'll just use the code I give them. And I change that between turnovers. But in some cases, people are a little bit more, security oriented, and they don't trust, and they don't want anybody sneaking in when they're home or when they're gone. So they will change the code, and I give them the directions how to do that. The reason why is I want them to feel secure in their home, and I want to over deliver and serve as best I can. And I know how it is. I was military police, so I definitely know about security minded kind of stuff. At the end of the day, I can go in there with my master key, which I'll give you a link to share with you guys in school, showing a video that's unlisted of how I go about storing that master key and my system shortcut with that, because I'm not always on site. And how are you managing the master key? I don't keep it in my safe anymore. I do have a copy in my safe, but it's never used. I think that's it for today. I just want to talk about a few things. If you're interested in getting into the school community, go to landlordingschool.com, and then you can see the about page, and you can request a meeting with me, and I can show you inside. We can talk about anything that you might be concerned with. But ultimately, here at Landlording School, what I'm trying to do is perfect a self-service management style, like a very hands-off style of DIY property management, where I use systems and shortcuts and processes, and I'm always trying to, optimize and get better and better. And I would like other, like-minded landlords and people in the field that are interested in this for us to all come together in a very strict community with small numbers, more intimate, and a safe place you can ask any questions. If somebody would have showed up today, I would not have posted this video to the public. And I delete these videos when people do show up after 3 days, because I don't want people worried that, like, oh, they're going to have my footage spread all over the place and mark it in my face and all that stuff. So it's not like that. It's truly, for me, this is my passion project. I want to do this forever, cash flow forever, baby, and leave an inheritance behind for my children's children. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make the rental business as efficient as possible. So when I leave this behind to my kids, they continue the cash flow. Hopefully one of the kids will be interested in tending to it, however simply I can make it. If not, maybe I got to figure out like a law firm or some kind of home office to kind of follow my direction, and I got it all set up to where it can be ran with one email. And I mean, I'm just constantly trying to figure out new ways to make this more efficient and better. And I would like other people to share input and all that stuff. So I guess that's it. I think I'm going to jump off here and end this for now. Thanks for showing up. See you guys around.